Over the weekend, Slut Walk LA happened, and Slut Walk actually happened in many different cities throughout the country. But most notably in Los Angeles, Amber Rose spoke out against some of the slut shaming that she faced as a result of Wiz Khalifa and Kanye West. Now, during her very emotional speech, she basically said that she forgave them. See why.
That's my mommy. Thank you, Mom. So, yeah, he came out with that song, and that really hurt me because all I did was ever love him. I just loved him so much and gave him a beautiful son, and to be told that I was nothing but a stripper, it hurt. I want to forgive Kanye for what he said about me. I want to let all that negativity go. I also forgive Wiz for what he said. Wiz actually apologized to me already, so I have forgiven him. I suggest that you guys do the same, and I'll tell you why. Because you can't. They're ignorant at times. People are ignorant, and you have to be the bigger person and be the positive person to forgive and move on and help other people around you that have been through the same thing.
So Wiz Khalifa, who she has a child with, basically called her nothing but a stripper, and then Kanye West said that he needed 30 showers after hooking up with her.
So now I'm going to say some things that not everybody might agree with. First of all, I don't like the name of the walk, the slut walk. I know it's to empower the word or something. It just makes me uncomfortable. Maybe I'm old school, but like, I don't think it's empowering. I think obviously I agree with the cause, absolutely, completely. I just called something else. Okay, let's put that aside for a second. Now on to her. Now, do you think that both those guys said that just because they're like, ha, I just want to slut shame or something? Maybe. I don't know those guys at all. I'm not a big fan of Kanye. I question whether he's completely solid up there.
We already know that he's not.
Right. And so, but at the same time, she had a kid from Wiz Khalifa, and my guess is that when they separated, there were some bad feelings, and so now, what was the financial situation between all those guys? I don't know.
Look, I don't know what their drama is or the dynamic of their relationships were. I have no idea, and I don't care. But what I do notice as a reoccurring theme in a lot of relationships that have gone awry is that the woman is usually attacked as a slut or as someone who's crazy. She's crazy, she's a slut, she's a whore. That's the #1 plan of attack. And I always find that really interesting because guys don't face the same criticism, right? If a guy has slept around with hundreds of women, he's a boss. Like, everyone's like, whoa, man, what a Casanova, right? What a Lothario.
Lothario, no one says
that. No one says that. But I do love that word. But with a woman, I mean, if you're sexually liberated, then you're a slut. Like, it's that simple.
Right. Now, I hear you. Perhaps in their anger, they used the wrong words. And not perhaps. Look, we all got to get better at that, right? Because in our anger, we all say a lot of things we probably shouldn't say, but then we didn't all put it in a song either, right? And so we all didn't say it in public. And so if you're going to criticize her for something you think she did, and I don't know their particular beefs, well, then criticize her for that. Whereas, hey, she slept with a lot of people, by the way, including me, so I can't believe what a bad person she is. Well, then Anna's right. That's not the right way to criticize her because you're saying, I question her morality for sleeping with people like me, right? So there's a little bit of irony in that criticism of her. So now she's sexually liberated. There's no question about that. Am I in favor of that? Yes. Okay. The jury's in on that. I enjoyed her outfit, etc. But like, I'm not sure she's the best spokesperson for, hey, don't do this. But maybe she is. Maybe she's perfectly sexually liberated. And for them criticizing her on this count, maybe it is a good case of quote unquote slut shaming and exactly who. Does anybody else feel uncomfortable calling it slut walk?
No.
No?
I don't
Okay.
have a problem with the name at all. I don't have a problem with the event. I don't have a problem with them getting someone like Amber Rose to speak out about this because she has been slut shamed quite a bit. She does have a history as a stripper. And so people
So I mean,
love
but that's exactly what I'm getting at, Anna. How much can you complain about being called a stripper if you're a stripper?
Well, she's not called a stripper. She's called a slut, and our strippers sluts. And what does it even mean to be a
But
slut?
Wiz said she was nothing but a stripper.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, she is more than a stripper, but she was also a stripper.
Right. Well, he's doing nothing but minimizing her to nothing more than a stripper, and I think that's beyond unfair, especially when you consider the fact that they had a long-term relationship and had a child together. Okay, well then why did you fall in love with someone that you consider nothing but a stripper? The criticism is always toward the woman in these cases, and it's always about her sexual activity or sexual behavior, right? And so you can't win because as a woman, if you decide to be conservative in your sexual activity, you're considered a prude. If you decide that you're liberated and you don't care what people think, you're immediately considered a slut. So you can't win. Like, what's the happy medium? Am I allowed to have sex once a week, once a month? Am I allowed to have 2 partners in my lifetime, 20 partners in my lifetime? Like who determines these things? And I think that it's about time that women speak out against it and just be like, hey, yo, fuck you, okay? You get to put your dick wherever you want, and so I get to choose who I get to have sex with, and you don't get to call me a slut or minimize me to nothing but a slut as a result of that.